So the W3C, I'm going to try to bring a standard up here. There it is. So this one's called the Simple Knowledge Organization System Reference. This is a standard for thesauruses, right? So you can imagine that once you have all informally sat down together and you figured out what's the common core, I think bibliographic data is probably the easiest thing. I mean, it's complicated, but it's fairly well known how it works. Someone cites someone, there's a paper, it has a year publication, it has a journal, this sort of stuff. I know it gets confusing in the details, but most things I know have been sort of talked about, at least by BibTech. You could say, well, why don't we make a web standard, a common RDF vocabulary, a common API, maybe not even the RDF, but a common set of names that allow our system to be shared. And then you would produce something like a technical standard, which looks like this, which then developers and people can look at and they can say, okay, I want to produce a new bibliographic system. I think my bibliographic system is great. Here's how I can export my data and talk about my data so other systems can talk about it. So web standards seem to be kind of horrible and technical, but they're not that bad. And they do ultimately help out. So I would just say you have a community of open access people already. Some of them are probably W3C members. I'm sure Berners-Lee supports the open access movement. It would be relatively easy maybe to look into, maybe not yet, but in 6 months or a year, whenever your community feels mature enough, to look into the W3C as a body, sort of get how different groups export RDF and link data, everyone doing it the same way. So get,
to what extent, I mean, you talked about FOAF and related practices. To what extent should we be moving towards these as established web phenomena rather than expecting, setting up our own independent ideas and expecting people to code to us?
Well, I mean, you already have a lot of deployed systems, I assume. So, right. So the key is you want to standardize probably post hoc. So you want to look at what you've already deployed, what works, and what's shared among the systems that already are deployed. So what does Southampton's repository system share with someone else's repository system? Like, can you two talk to each other and say, well, wouldn't it be great if we could combine our data easily? And then that's maybe how you would start bootstrapping the process. And once you feel like you have a critical mass of people who do agree, who all are very interested in open access, then you can go through the W3C and look at the process standardization. So it's hard to say. The technical details, vary from community to community.
Right. Okay. Thanks very much. So, blazing the trail through this. Noshir, did you want to say a few words? Did you want to say anything?
I don't, not right now. I need to collect my thoughts.
Yeah, the time now is quarter past 4. If we can probably, if we push it, we can probably finish for 4:30, which would give people 2 clear hours before we've got to be back here, which is probably a good thing. I've got a few slides to say myself, to talk to myself, which just, I think actually, put them in here. moving on. Sorry, there will be a short delay.